So day 3, I'm calling this my highs and my lows. So over the course of the last couple of days, including yesterday, I basically sort of had a meltdown. My late father, he passed away December 30th on 2017. It's been 3 years, and I miss him. And the January 11th was going to be I think his 70th birthday. So, yeah, I would probably have been 70, 71. And I miss him greatly. And there's just a battle between my family going on that shouldn't be happening. There were things that were done and said, and it shouldn't happen in family. Family should take care of each other, and that's what my father's wishes were. His wishes were that we all share and we all support each other. And in his will, that's the way he had it set up. And when it came time for him to be on his deathbed, it caused a split in our family. Um, I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it. I just know that on his birthday, this past January 2 days ago, it hurts that my family and my sister and I have to go through all this, including my wife. My wife her stress was up high. My sister's stress is up high. My sister has MS, and the stress doesn't help her body at all. And for me, being a high school math teacher, teaching virtually, I make comments to it. I'm a disabled vet through the Air Force, and I was talking to the VA hospital today about some of my appointments I'm doing, and they're scheduling me during the time I'm supposed to be teaching my classes. And I was like, guys, I can't do it. I have to teach class, especially virtually. I told them the best days I can get in for my appointments, and they were like, we might have to outsource you. I was like, that's fine. I can do that. However, it's the amount of stress that I go through. And being a virtual teacher, I mean, English, my wife does an amazing job being a teacher, and she teaches junior high school. I don't know how she does it. She just does it. I love high school. I like the high level math. And I found going virtual ever since COVID happened, shutdowns, we went all virtual. Teaching math is one of the hardest concepts to plan for. I mean, English, you can have them read a section in a story, have them read an essay, have them read a news article, and then you can either have them discuss it verbally, talk about it in a discussion. They can write it up in a report. They can do an essay. They can do a short story, however they want it, and it's easier to do. Math and science is a whole different ballgame. And so I've gone through a lot of stress at my job. I mean, like I said, I was talking to the VA person on the phone that was setting up my appointments and the appointment center, and I was like, God, dude, I'm going through more stress and staying up more longer nights than I did when I was in the military. I mean, yeah, we pulled 12-hour shifts, we pulled day-long shifts. We've done them for weeks. I mean, there are guys that are fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq that are doing it day in and day out, and they're fighting in a combat situation. Well, my combat in high school, teaching virtually, is getting my students to do something, getting them inspired to learn math, because a lot of my students don't know math. A lot of them, I mean, 99%, well, not 99, let's say 90% of my students come from backgrounds where they have a lack of skill sets for math, and it's teaching them that it's just as simple as multiplying 3 times 9 gaining 27. We were told to memorize that stuff. Nowadays, they don't memorize them, and it's just like, I was talking to a student, I go, what's 3 times 6? And they took 5 minutes. I'm like, that should have been an 18, like boom, like that. And it was they were either doing it on their phone or they were Googling it, seeing what 3 times 6 was. And it took them about 5 minutes to respond. Yeah, eventually they came back with the right solution. It's just, it shouldn't take 5 minutes. And so I teach at a school where we teach by blocks. That means I teach every quarter. In addition, not only teaching every quarter, every semester, I go through a whole school year's worth of math, because I teach in an alternative charter school, and we had to let one of our math teachers go, so I'm the only one teaching math at on this school. And so when I went in to get into the algebra course that was supposedly set up, it wasn't there. There was nothing in there for me to do. I had to come in all every time I go to I mean, this is only my second school, and between two schools, I've had to go and set the whole entire curriculum from scratch because someone didn't do the job or someone got too lazy or just whatever happened. And I'm back in that situation again. And on top of teaching a geometry class, on top of teaching, supporting my students, being a mentor and everything else that's required in my job, I had to set up a whole nother class again. And that took me on a big giant low. I mean, it took me on so much of a low that I'm thankful that I'm starting to exercise again. I'm thankful I'm eating healthier. I'm thankful I'm putting good things in my body, supplements. Like I said, I if you're following me, I use essential oils. I've been diffusing essential oils, been applying them to my chest, been applying them to my. I put lemon in my water and I drink lemon every morning, and I'm thankful for all that because it allowed me to cope better and a little faster. Yes, yeah, I had a meltdown. I had literally a meltdown. I between my father passing away, his birthday, my job, the amount of stress I go through, I spend between more than 10 hours a day on my computer getting stuff ready for my students. I have two classes. However, I've got two class periods, a total of four for two different classes. So first hour is algebra 1, then geometry 1, then I have another class of algebra 1, and then I finish up with geometry 2, another class of geometry, teaching the same stuff twice a day. And it's planning for all that and doing lesson plan. I mean, I never thought it would get this hard. And so I hit a low. And between that and then setting up my YouTube channel and streaming my stuff and learning new software and running my essential oil business because I love my essential oil business because one day I know I'm going to be helping people have a healthier lifestyle using essential oils. It's helped me greatly. It just didn't help quite enough yesterday. And I said something to my wife and she came back with a term and I didn't think I did it. However, I turned off the phone and hung up on her and I had to apologize for that. And then my boss emailed me, and the way I emailed back, she was really pissed at me. However, at that time, I really didn't care because I was under so much stress. And what happened was when I hung up the phone, I said to my wife, I broke down in tears. I was literally crying in my office with no one around me for about a good 10 minutes. And it was a low. So much so that it was just like, I needed to get it out of my system. I needed to go through. I'm still grieving about my father's death. It sucked. My dad was not supposed to die yet. My dad was a man that cared for family and friends so much so that he gave a lot, and a lot of the times I took that for granted. And my dad was a working alcoholic. He drank constantly. And it was his two favorite things was beer and scotch. So typically wherever I went. I mean, I can remember growing up with him and spending the weekends with him when my parents got divorced, hanging out at a bar, and he would drink and hang out with his buddies. I would go in the game room, play pool, darts, video games when they were still around, arcade games. That's what I did. That's what I did for hanging out the weekend with my dad. Or when we were at the house, he had a scotch, and then we would build model airplanes together. I mean, he is such a great model builder. This is one of his planes. And he put so much detail into them that it literally looks like someone took a shrinking ray, shrunk it down, and basically took all the fuel out of it. And it was basically sort of like in mothballs. You can literally put fuel in it, put the fluids back in it, blow it back up in its full size, sort of like Ant-Man or the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and blow it back up and start it back up and fly off in it. That's how great his models were. I mean, check this out. This is another one of his. This is one of my favorites. This one right here has a story. This is back up. This right here is the way I was holding it when I got out of I was home on leave from the Air Force, and when he built this thing, my fingers are right here, and I went and I said, "Hey, Dad!" I took my finger off the exhaust. The only thing that was holding it was my finger on the front, and it fell. He just finished this, and it fell to the ground, and it broke. And boy, was he mad at me. I tell you what, he was mad. However, it was a learning lesson. I learned that with my dad's stuff, you've got to treat it with respect. That's where I learned a lot about respect. Is even though he yelled at me, and when he yells, it's like you go run and hide in a corner, because the alcohol and everything else and his temper, you go and run and hide. However, I learned a great deal about respect between the military and him. I learned, and then my stepdad and my mom. It's just my family. I learned a lot about respecting people's property, especially. That one time I dropped that plane, that taught me a lot about someone's property. It was his pride and joy that day, and I broke it. And boy, yeah, when people break my stuff, yeah, I get pissed or I get upset. However, I come across it a different way. So like I said, he was a working alcoholic. He worked at his job with alcohol in the system. He went home. He drove. He was one of those type of people that when you call him a working alcoholic, it means that he can literally drive a vehicle to a certain point and drive it somewhat safely. Now, long distances, not so much. Short distances, he was pretty good. So those are some fun memories, and I'll talk more about my dad and my stepdad. Like I shared yesterday, my stepdad's an amazing man. I love him dearly. He's known me since I was about 8, and his job was protecting people. My father, his job was building stuff. He worked at a power company in Arizona, and he was a surveyor for a long period of time. I became a surveyor. I was actually third generation surveyor. My grandfather was a surveyor, so it was fun to get in that field, and he got to see a lot of the country. However, like I said, he was taken early. He was taken too soon. I got a feeling if he would have stopped drinking about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6, it might have given him a few more years. Alcohol, I find out, it's not good for your system. For me, my alcohol was sugar, and I'm day 78 right now, 78, 79, almost 90 days, almost 80 days of not having any sweets. That's me. So I'm going to wrap this up. And know I've been on here a little bit longer than I planned. However, just keep following me. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers yet. When I have enough subscribers, then the website I'm using to create these videos would actually send my live ones to YouTube. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers, then I will be able to sync this directly to YouTube, and it'll be posted there. However, I'm commenting this way, so follow me at #Boster Comeback. You can follow my wife and I on #Boster Vitality. And like I said, subscribe to me on, and this is going to posted on Facebook. Come find me at Boster Vitality Comeback on YouTube, and you can follow me there too. So like I said, I want to get as many subscribers as I can. I like to actually just, instead of doing multiple steps, I just want to do it as one quick step. And the only way to do that, got to hit 1,000 subscribers. So keep following me, and I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll tell you what I'll figure out what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk about my school day, tell you how that is. And tomorrow's actually going to the boxing, so I'll tell you how I box and tell you about my school day. I'll do that. Okay, talk to everyone later. Bye.